right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to GWR Live, Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Got a big show for you guys tonight. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. And we also got special guest Blake Money Wright, pro wrestler, getting ready for a big match this weekend. How's it going, Blake?
Hey, what's going on? It's my favorite father and son duo. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good. He's watching some AEW. I turned it on in here for him because I don't watch much AEW, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, though that's probably what I'll be doing. I've got it on the DVR, so that's probably what I'll be doing right after we get off on here. Maybe watching the IU game too. So
yeah, we're actually in Indianapolis today.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, that's awesome. I always like when the big promotions come into town. It's a good opportunity for local shows to promote their shows there. So it's always nice, to see that, the big companies coming to Indy. Always a nice thing.
It's one of the reasons I turned it on because I know Bruce McGar and some other guys have real good seats, so I figure we might be able to see them on TV. But I usually watch the sports and then watch the AEW later. But if IU's on or the Pacers are on, that's what I'm usually watching.
Right. Yeah. No.
We got Marcus.
Hey, what's up, Marcus?
In here. And Kelly says hi as well. They're always the first two in the chat room.
So I said I got my favorite father and son duo. Now I guess I got my favorite husband and wife wrestling duo. So how about that?
Yep. Well,
I'm gonna share this stuff real quick.
Got some big matches coming up. I don't know what else you got this weekend, if anything, but I know Friday night, a huge show in CINCY. So what do you think? What are your feelings on that right now?
Yeah, so it's an open challenge, and I'm excited for it. There's several guys that I'm hoping answer it. Dan Severn. I feel like that'll be a first time matchup against me. So who knows? Maybe you'll see Blake Money Wright versus Dan Severn. Maybe you'll see Blake Money Wright versus Aaron Williams. We both throw some pretty hellacious kicks, and that's never been done. We've worked on mini shows together, just never against each other. Or who knows? I mean, I know Zach Wentz doesn't have a match yet, so who knows? Maybe Zach Wentz will face off against BMW. So I would say those are the three guys that I'm hoping answer it. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And the good news is, this is where I'll plug GWR. You can see who answers that open challenge on GWR because you guys are going to be there.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited. It's our first out-of-state show, and plus that, it's going to be a great show. Like you said, some of the names on it already are great names. I know Mickey Midas is in there also, and there's some other good names too.
Mickey's a hell of a performer. I actually I wrestled him. I believe it was last weekend or the weekend before for Destination 6 Wrestling. I actually I got to tie up with him for the first time, and he's very entertaining, very athletic, just a hell of a professional wrestler.
Yeah, we've got to see him before. Yeah, he's really good. They added Madman Pondo to a hardcore match, and I've heard a lot. I've seen a lot of tape on Madman, but I've never seen him before, so I'm really excited about that.
Pondo, he's a great guy, man. You gotta talk to Pondo. He's got some very wild stories that you'll like. Man, there's no way this is true, but he's hilarious, man. That dude has lived the gimmick for sure. So he's hysterical. Always love sharing a locker room with Madman.
I know you're going to be in CINCY on Friday night. You got any other matches this weekend?
No. So light weekend. So I mean, it'll be weird. It'll be weird not going to WCWO on Friday. I'll be back there next week. But it's a light weekend, so it's weird. Whenever I have weekends like this, it's really weird just because, on Saturday or Sunday, I might go to a show just to hang out with the guys. But usually when I'm home on a Saturday or Sunday, like, it's really weird. I was talking to Joey about this, Joey Owens, yesterday, actually. I was like, man, like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, yeah, man. He's like, going back to like your college football days, it's like you had a game on Saturday. So it's like, he's absolutely right. Like I've been since I was 18 years old. I've been, always been on the road or always been at a show or at a game on the weekends. So I never know what to do with myself. I always hate feeling like a normal person and sitting at home watching football or doing laundry or something like that. I don't know. I feel weird whenever I'm home on the weekends.
Yeah. Oh, I bet because you probably don't get to be home very often on the weekends. Because I know a lot of times you wrestle 2 or 3 shows every
Yeah.
weekend.
So and this time of the year, usually shows slow down a little bit, just because I feel like the average wrestling fans, they'd rather spend money, on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and completely makes sense. And with the weather conditions and stuff like that. So, I kind of use this time just to kind of rest up, heal up, focus more on the gym, and focus on if there's any nagging injuries, getting those fixed. So, but it is weird. Like usually, if I'm home on the weekends, like I'm sleeping and then waking up and then hitting the next town. So it's weird, but it's nice to be able to catch up with like my local friends and my family and hang out with my dog for a little bit.
I know last time we had talked to you, you was getting ready to wrestle Heath Slater. How was that experience?
Yeah, oh, it was awesome, man. Heath's a great guy. Kind of a funny story actually. So I cut a heel promo on him, and he cut a promo on me, and so I'm like waiting, for Heath to get there. And, I'm just chilling in the locker room talking with the boys. And I see Heath Slater bust through the curtain. And am I allowed to cuss on here to quote him verbatim? And he burst through the curtain. He's like, "Where's that motherfucker that was talking shit about me?" And so I'm just like, all right, so I got 2 options at this point. I can like, I feel like he's joking, so I was like, I can joke back with him, or I can just be apologetic. And I was like, all right, screw it. And I was like, I'm right fucking here. I was just like, we got face to face, then hugged it out. And it was one of those like weird moments where I was like, man, did we just become friends? And I think we did. He's a good dude, man. He's awesome, man. I hope to wrestle him soon. He's a great guy, man. Like 10 out of 10 experience. Loved every second of it. And sorry I dropped a couple F-bombs. Hopefully that doesn't get you guys in any trouble anywhere.
That's no problem.
Oh, I won't get us in no trouble. It gets dropped quite a bit on this show.
All right, good. I mean, especially if you're covering the Colts. I mean, you got to swear every now and then, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. There was a bunch of them Monday night during that Colts game between us, and there's another guy that was on here with us.
And he's not even a Colts fan. He's a Cowboy fan, and he was yelling and screaming about the Colts, some of the decisions they made. So.
Oh man, yeah, he'll be happy next Sunday night when the Cowboys are pounding us Colts. Not looking forward to that.
You mentioned WCWO. I was going to mention that real quick. Just wondering, are you finished with VIP yet, or you still got some unfinished business there?
Man, I think I'm more focused on that weasel Reggie Edwards. I mean,
I was wondering about that too.
A special guest referee, man, and let's be real. The only reason why I lost that match is because Reggie he did a quick count. It's supposed to be like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, and it was like 1 Iowa, 2 Iowa, 3 Iowa, and I always say Iowa because he's from that boring state.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I got to get my hands on Reggie Edwards, man. I think that's what's next. He wants to get in the wrestling ring and play wrestler. Like, all right, let's do it. So I don't know. I think the next thing is challenging him to a match, and then after that, it's getting the title back. I think that's my plans. Reggie Edwards is number 1 on my list at WCWO.
I think Weasel's a pretty good name for Reggie.
Oh, I've got a lot of names, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's something, man. Like he's, I could say many things. I could. What do they call those? The animals that eat in dumpsters. I'm forgetting what they call him. They have a special thing, but like, you could call him that just because he's always got food in his beard, and it's just disgusting, man. Like I got to do something about him.
I agree with that.
A trash panda. He's a trash panda. That's what he is.
Okay.
He's a trash panda. That's what
I would say he kind of looks like a trash panda. I think that's perfect.
He does, man. He's got food in his beard, and he had his. I mean, first off, I know he's a special guest referee, but referees should always have their shirts tucked in. He didn't even have his shirt tucked in. Like it was bad, man. It was amateur hour, but it's all good. I'm pretty sure VIP was paying them off with their AARP cards. So, probably got a discount at the senior menu at IHOP or something. So it's all good, man. I get it. I get why Reggie did what he did, but I'll get my revenge on him. That's for sure.
Marcus said, "Don't insult Bobby Heenan by calling Reggie a weasel."
Yeah, that is true. So I call him a trash panda, Marcus.
Yeah, I agree
That's
with
what we're
that.
going with now. He's a trash panda. That's what he is.
Okay. Anything that you've done so far in your career that you would change?
I would change. That's a great question. I think it's I think just like being a professional. I think there's been a few instances in my career where I asked why, like, oh, why am I doing this or why am I doing that? And I wish that I just sat back and listened. And I wish that, at first, like, I didn't take it so serious. Like now, like thanks to Joey, like Joey will always tell me, hey, just have fun out there. You're a good performer, just have fun. And I think that's what I've gotten so caught up in is like I was such a perfectionist out there, and like really like my career I didn't start, and I don't want to say that like I've done anything in the business like huge, but like my career didn't start kind of taking off until like I had the mindset of like, hey, you know what, like wrestling should be fun, and that's kind of the approach that I've taken it, and if I'm in the ring with someone, where, like, let's say like they're an old man or, they're not the most athletic person. It's just like, now I just take it with the challenge. Like, hey, I'm going to have fun and I just want to bring out the best in them. And since taking that approach, like wrestling's just been far more enjoyable. So I would say just being more of a professional from day one, which I think you got to kind of learn from your mistakes. And then secondly, just, just going out there with the mindset of like, hey, go have fun. And since I've been doing that, like it's been far more enjoyable for me.
Any style of match that you haven't done so far that you would like to do?
So I've been, man, I mean, I've done a lot. Like steel cages have always been great for me. Like some of my all-time favorite matches have come inside of a cage. I always wanted to do an Iron Man match, and I got to do that very early on in my career against Jordan James. So it's like, and I've done all these, I've done 2 out of 3 Falls' match. Like I did a Mobster's Ball last Friday. But really, I mean, and I've done ladder matches. I would say like probably the next one, because like would be a 60-minute Ironman match, because my first Ironman match was 30 minutes. So I would probably say like a 60-minute Ironman match would be awesome. I think I would just need to have the right build. I would need to have the right opponent. And kind of the right chemistry with the person too. I mean, there's a few people that come to mind that I think I could do it with, but I would say a 60-minute Ironman match would be the next goal.
Chris, help me with this because you're better with names. Because I'm old. We got to see I believe it was Greenfield. And when you talk about Bill, these two guys, and he may be able to remember the names.
It was Ace Perry
and Giza.
Oh, it's Ace Perry and Kevin Giza. Yeah,
yes,
I remember
and they built it.
That. Yeah,
they built it up. They started with a 10-minute match. Next match was 15 or 20. The next match was 30 minutes, and then the last match was an hour. So it was over a 4 or 5 month period. And I thought it was pretty cool, and I thought they did a heck of a job. I mean, it was pretty cool. They did it.
Oh, and that's awesome. I mean, I don't know Kevin that well, but like Ace Perry is phenomenal. Like so talented, and and that's the thing. Like they had a good build to it, because I think the biggest problem that I see is just like, I feel like on the indies, it's kind of like a copycat business. Like whatever they see on TV, okay, well, we're going to do that. It's like, well, that works for TV, but does it work for what we're doing, on a smaller stage? Oftentimes it doesn't. So it's like you got to kind of build it, and sometimes you have to build it in such a simple way of like, okay, hey, our first match is 10, then it's 15, then it's 30. Okay, now it's 60. Like that makes sense, and so that's awesome to hear that they did that. And I haven't watched the match, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I think when you ask me like, hey, what style of match do I want to do next, I think it would be a 60-minute Ironman match for sure.
I'll tell you what was cool about that. Funny story. We had a couple of special guests during that show, and one was a little boy, and he really wasn't on mic, but you could hear him. He's probably like 7 or 8 years old, and he was loving the show. And it's the first time he'd ever been at any kind of wrestling show, but he watches wrestling on TV, and you could hear him on mic. We could hear him, and he said, because they started off really slow. I mean, it's a 60-minute match, so they start off really slow, and he's yelling, "Do something! Come on, do something!" And by the end of the match, probably about 25 minutes in and on, it was the greatest thing he ever seen. It was the greatest day of his life.
Yeah.
The greatest match you ever seen, and you could hear it all on air because he wasn't on mic, but he was sitting pretty close to the mics, and it was absolutely hilarious, and it was really cool.
He did. He said, "You guys go do something. This is terrible."
Yes, he was.
He said, "Oh, this is awesome." I was cracking up. But yeah, he was only probably 8 years old.
Oh, that's always the best to do. Like, it's like, all right, you just wait. Like, we're gonna like, I'll turn it up. I'll do something cool. Like, and then that's always the best. And I'm glad to hear that he turned it around. That okay, this is the best thing I've ever seen. He went from hating it to absolutely loving it. That's awesome.
Marcus Fine said Blake versus Nate Matthews for. I'm assuming for the Iron Man.
Yeah, I'm open for it. We've never had a singles match one-on-one.
Did you move your phone?
That would be. What's that?
Did you move your phone because your sound's breaking up some?
Some static in it.
All right, sorry about that. Can you hear better now?
No, it's still doing that. I wonder why.
Yeah, it just started all of a sudden.
Okay. Here, let me see if I can turn off my mic back on.
All right. Yeah, it was.
Now.
Say something again.
Oh, did I lose you guys?
No.
You're still here.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now?
No, it's still doing the same thing.
We can hear you, but it's kind of.
Let me see if
it's like a staticky.
Okay. Yeah. It just started all of a sudden. Yeah. It just started all of a sudden. Good on you.
Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure why it done that.
Huh. Okay. Can you hear me clear now?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it done that. No, you're still a little staticky.
Tell you what, you want me to try to leave and come back?
Yeah, we can try that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, let me exit out of this and then I'll join right back in. Okay.
All right, that sounds good, man.
Everybody stay with us.
Yeah, sorry about that. Having a little bit of a technical difficulty there.
Don't know what happened. It's all of a sudden it started on his end because ours sounded okay, I believe.
Yeah. When I checked it, we were sounding good. So I'm not sure what happened. But if you just joined us, we have Blake Money Wright with us. He'll be back in a second. He's getting ready for a big match this weekend in Cincinnati, Ohio at CINCY Wrestling.
I'm excited for this.
We're going to be there at the event. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be streaming it live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays Network. So if you can't make it to Cincinnati, come check it out live with us Friday night. While we're waiting on Blake to get back, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room.
Hey, Holden, how's it going? Buddy.
Yeah, how's it going, Holden? I need to get a hold of Holden. I'm gonna text you after the show.
Yeah, really looking forward to the CINCY show.
Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah,
there you go. Now you're perfect
okay.
Again.
Awesome. Yeah. So to answer, I think Marcus Fine. I think as Marcus said, Blake versus Nate Matthews. We've never had a one-on-one match, which is surprising. I mean, him and I don't work a lot of the same.
Can't hear you now.
Match with down the road.
So,
I'm open for it. I think it's just a matter of finding a promotion to sign the match.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
Holden said your cage match and feud at the Dub with Omen versus Omen was fantastic.
Oh,
Some of the best matches he's
now I
seen.
can't hear you guys.
Really?
Yep. Let me try leaving and backing out of here. 1 sec.
I don't know what's going on. Sorry guys.
Yeah,
We're having a little
so-
bit of technical difficulty here. Hey,
Yeah.
that happens sometimes on a live broadcast.
Yeah, Chris, talking about that Cincy show, from all indications, because I've been checking their website, it sounds like it's almost a sellout.
Yeah.
And I know it's at a theater. I'm not sure what it holds, but I'm really excited for it. I think being in a theater is going to be kind of a different atmosphere for us that we've been in. So I'm really looking forward to it. Again, that show's going to be at 8:00 Friday night. Definitely, if you're not going to Cincinnati, check it out. Check it out on our channel. YouTube.
Let me know if you guys, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on, but
yeah, I can hear you good
as
now.
you can tell, this is why I stick to wrestling and not broadcasting.
It happens sometimes when you're live.
Oh yeah, gotta love live streaming, right? But yeah. So and then I think there was a comment about Holden right before my phone started glitching out on me. Now,
Yeah.
Well, what did he say?
He said your cage match and feud at the Dub versus Omen was fantastic and some of the best matches he's seen.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. That was special. Probably some of my.
Yeah, I've watched one cage
times
match where you guys was outside
Yeah,
in the ring.
Yeah, that was our final match
That was
against
great.
each other in that feud, and yeah, and it was a chilly night for sure, and I think it was a very poetic ending to our feud. So that was awesome. That was probably some of the most fun I've had in my career. Like, building that thing at WCW, where they run every week. To be able to articulate that story, to be able to take the fans on an emotional roller coaster. And it was fun because every single week, I feel like the fans were like, "Oh my gosh, what's next?" Like, "Oh my gosh, what's next?" And it was awesome. It's probably, I mean, it's right up there with my feud against Joey. Just some really, really fun times.
Marcus,
He says thoughts on your upcoming Mike King match.
Oh man, me and Mikey boy. Yeah, it'll be fun. So Thunder Blunder is when it's gonna happen. That's another first time thing. So it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time for me. I don't know if it'll be a good time for Mike King. I mean, he'll probably be blown up by the time he gets to the ring, dancing to his ridiculous music. So like it was kind of bad the other day in the locker room. He couldn't even like reach down to bend over to tie his boots. He had to have one of the young guys help him out at the Dub. So, I mean, Lord bless him. I hope Mike King makes it out of the match in one piece. I mean, the good news is there is multiple hospitals right by the Emerson Theater. So it's all love for Mike, but he's in for a hell of a night. So I'm looking forward to it. All jokes aside, I'm looking forward to working Mike.
I have a question. It's kind of a double-edged question. Best decision that you've made in your career so far, and the worst decision you've made in your career.
Great question. Man, I think the best decision that I made in my career was, I would say, man, that's a great question. I mean, I would say the worst decision that I made was not traveling early in my career. Like, I did a good job of like keeping a busy schedule of like working every Friday and Saturday and like Sunday, but I was like wrestling locally, and that it's like that's cool. But like I think the best decision I was like, okay, now I'm gonna start traveling, and now I'm gonna start making more connections, and now I'm gonna be working different talents. That was probably my best decision. And yeah, my worst was or yeah, that was my worst decision. My best decision in the business, man, I feel like, I think like early on, it's like, I made a lot of poor choices and I made a lot of good choices, but probably my best decision, man, was like finding players that run every week, finding IWA Mid-South and finding a place like WCWO, where I could wrestle every single week, where it's 56 guaranteed bookings every year. And it's just repetition after repetition after repetition. Cause that's really where like I found my confidence, in wrestling. Cause like I'll wrestle guys that have been, wrestling longer than me, like I'll have opponents, like I'm not going to say the name, but there's someone who's like been doing this for a year longer than me. And I've had like over 100 more matches than him. And the reason why is because he put out, I've had this many matches. And the reason why I have is because, I had places like IWA, I had places like WCWO that were running every single week. So I think that was my best decision, was like finding a home in wrestling. So that, and then just like, finding quality training, I think was a really good decision. The fact that like, I just didn't go to a couple seminars and think, I'm a pro wrestler now. Like, cause there are guys like that have been untrained, that just go to a couple seminars, or they've, rolled around the ring, or they've watched some YouTube videos, or they were yarders that consider themselves wrestlers. Like, I would say quality training and finding a home, in a place that runs weekly is probably my best decision that I've made in my career thus far.
I think you made a great decision with who you got the quality training from as well, because I think he's one of the best around.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And then like, I think like after your training too, it's like finding like a good mentor is good. I think it's like in wrestling, it's all about who you surround yourself with, right? Like if you surround yourself with people that only wrestle twice a month, like you're not going to get anywhere. Like you're still going to be wrestling at the same damn places. Like there's a lot of people that I know that only wrestle like twice a month. I'm like, what are you doing? Like you're not going to get any better at it. You're not going to be progressing. And yeah, I was very fortunate to have good guidance and to have good leadership, with my trainer and, with Joey, like having that good guidance has really been beneficial towards me.
Yeah, you got, like you said, you got to have good mentorship, and you got to have somebody that's going to tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear. I mean, they're going to tell you the way it is, right or wrong.
Oh yeah,
they're going to give it to you straight, and I think you've got that definitely.
Oh yeah, and like early on in your career, like yeah, it's hard to take that criticism sometimes because like, you don't have that confidence. But once you find that inner self-confidence and you have that confidence in the ring, it's like you get to a point where it's like, okay, I can do this. And like in wrestling, before I got in, I was like, oh, well, I'm a man. I pay my own bills, this and that, yada, yada, yada. I'm a man now. Dude, like with wrestling and getting ripped into all the time, like early on in my career, like that's what made me a man. Like, because like wrestling has really faced me with some like very adverse situations, like some tough situations, some tough, difficult conversations. And like, wrestling is what made me a man. Like it wasn't, paying my bills, finding a career, having a house, going through all this. Like, no, like wrestling is what made me a man.
I know you mentioned you played college football. How is the training for wrestling harder than what you would like train for college football?
I mean, to teach their own. I mean, yeah, I mean, wrestling's more demanding on the body for sure, because like, the big thing is like in football, like in college football, you play 12 games a year. If you make a bowl game, you play 13. If you get your conference game, you get 14 games, right? And it only goes on for about 6 or 7 months of physical contact. Like with wrestling, it's weekly, year round. I mean, they're both like, I would say I feel it depends on like what match. Like for example, if I had a main event match, like because usually I'll have like 2 matches a week that go 15 to 20 minutes, and like man, when it comes like Monday, like it feels like I've been an absolute car wreck when I get out of bed. But with like football, it would kind of be the same, but it just wouldn't be year round. So it's like they're both physically demanding, but I would say like wrestling is harder, way harder, mentally and physically.
And then Marcus Fine had a question. Said Scott Romer took a photo of you picking Rip Rogers' brain. Tell us your thoughts on Rip.
Yeah, man, Rip. Rip's a great guy. When I first met him, I met him through Dylan Bostic and Jake Oman, like I was able to sit down. And I was like, okay, because like I knew who Rip Rogers was, is because like many other guys in the business, I was a big fan, right? So I knew exactly who the hell he was. I know he's a worker back in the day. I understand like the people that he trained at OVW. Like I understand that he was at the prime OVW days when it was with Jim Cornette and Rip Rogers. So I was able to really pick his mind, and Rip was definitely a very informative guy. He gives you things bluntly, but that's how it has to be in wrestling. And he's been able to he's able to teach me, and Rip's a great guy. If I ever see him in a locker room, I can go up to him and, he'll know who I am and we can talk. So we've talked several times, but I've learned like sometimes the most important things in wrestling are the simplest things, like what's the why? Like, hey, why am I going to go out here and why do I want to win this match? Or, why do I want to punch this guy in the face? Or why do I want the championship, or what's the story, what's the simple stuff, and like less is more. I think it shows in my work. I'm not a guy that's going to go out and do 5,000 flips because what, I can run my mouth as a heel, or I can get my sympathy as a good guy, and what I can do, and I can get way bigger crowd reactions than the guys doing all that BS. And Rip was kind of, helped me open my eyes and kind of see the old school way of things. I'm not saying that like, the flippy doodah stuff, it's not bad. Like it has its place in wrestling, but like Rip was able to teach me the old school, like less is more ways. And I've got nothing but terrific things to say about Rip. And I was honored to be able to even pick his mind.
Marcus says he has that photo hanging on his wall. And then I was going to say real quick,
awesome.
we went to a seminar with the Rock and Roll Express, and Morton basically said exactly what you just said about less is more. I mean, that's basically why he said
yeah.
it.
Yeah. And kind of a funny thing about that is like Romer, he's always great at taking pictures of me, like picking people's mind at that show. I was at the show earlier, so I wasn't booked on that show. I just came there to hang out because I knew that Rip Rogers was going to be there. I knew Ricky Morton was going to be there, and I have a photo. I'll have to send it to you, Marcus, of pretty much me picking the minds of both Rip Rogers and Ricky Morton. The sad thing is like people showed up to that seminar from what I heard and had no idea who Ricky Morton was. People will be in locker rooms and have no idea who Rip Rogers is, and it's just like that's embarrassing. It's like in order to be a professional wrestler, you need to understand the history of this business and who's came before you. And I find it like humiliating and embarrassing that to share a locker room with guys that don't know who those guys are and don't know what they've done. Just because if you don't, shame on you. Like there's no shame in admitting that you don't know, but just don't let it happen again. The next time you're at a show with someone, I don't know who that is. Like we have the internet. We have the entire WWE, WCW, and ECW and World Class, catalog on Peacock. Like there's no excuse for that.
Philip Anderson says, "Hello guys, hope you're all okay. See you soon."
Hey, how's it going, Phil? Hope you're doing well, man. Been keeping you in my thoughts and prayers. Stay strong, Phil.
Wrestling move that you love to do or love to see be done, and also a wrestling move that you just dislike.
You said a wrestling move that I like to see me done, the wrestling
wrestling
move
move
that I
that you
dislike.
wrestling move that you like to do yourself or see done. Period. The move that you really like, you've always liked, and also a wrestling move that you just dislike seeing or dislike doing or being done to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, wrestling move that I love doing would probably be my finishing move, the running knee, the number one knee. Or I love kicking people, man. Like
I was gonna say that
I
because I've seen you keep.
love kick. I love kicking people, man. It's probably my favorite thing to do if I'm being real. And I'm not gonna be one of those guys who's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna kick that in. Like I always like roll my eyes at those guys because like I'll see how they throw kicks and I'm like, man, like you're not throwing kicks like that's not a kick. But I love throwing kicks and I love doing my knee. And then like when it comes to moves that I hate seeing doing or that I hate taking, that's a terrific question. I would say, man, like any top rope move, man. I don't like. I'm starting not to like to take. Like I'm about to turn into one of those old school guys that only wants to take like an elbow drop or like a double forearm or something. Because a few weeks ago I took a 450 and the person he drove his knees into my rib cage, and I was like, man, I was like, that is not so. I would say like if anyone's doing it, like just protect yourself and like and I've seen so many dudes do flips and like almost break their necks, and it's just like, man, like brothers, like like hit that move impactful, but at the same time protect yourself, like don't try to break your neck. Like once your neck goes, your career goes for the most part. So so that would probably be my answer to that. That's a great question too, by the way.
Thanks. Mark Henry, he said he hated taking chops. Mark Henry said he hated chops. Yeah, he just
oh man,
and speaking
there's
of
some chops.
oh yeah,
Oh, go
there's
ahead.
some
Sorry.
chops around. Yeah, I was gonna say Joey Owens. I know definitely chop wise.
Yeah,
Oh
I've taken
man, it's
chop
like
from
you're
Joey.
getting hit with like a ping. It's like you're getting hit with like a ping pong paddle or like or like a spatula. It just, oh my gosh, it stings, man. Joey, I would say that like some of the most hellacious chops I've ever taken are from Joey or Wolfie. So I think it just kind of runs in the family. Like I don't know if like the first thing that once they learn how to walk, they learn how to like throw chops as a baby. But whatever it is, it's they're terrible, man. They're terrible, but
I was bruised for
but it's kind of a good thing because once you take chops from guys like that, you have no other option but to start bringing it. So yeah, chops are never fun. They're never fun, especially like if you get like hit in the nipple too. Oh, it's awful.
I bet.
I took 3 chops at one show, and one of them was from Joey Owens, and I was bruised for about a week and a half.
Oh yeah, it checks out, man. Like I think the first time I wrestled Wolfie, I think my chest was bleeding. So oh, he said Basher was great at it. I unfortunately did not get to meet I didn't get to meet Don Basher. Unfortunately, I always hear terrific stories about him, from Joey, and Wolfie and everyone really. So, but there you go. It proves that it runs in the family, with Basher, with JKO, and with Wolfie. It goes to show, man. It's once they learn how to walk, they learn how to chop.
Going back real quick on the Rip Rogers and OVW, Mark Henry credits OVW and Jim Cornette and especially Rip Rogers for saving his career. When he came in WWE, he went straight to WWE, probably WWF at the time actually, and because he was Olympic, and they signed him and stuff, and he got in trouble. He threatened to kill Shawn Michaels, and they was about ready to fire him, and they sent him. They sent him down to OVW.
I think there were multiple people that I think were about ready to kill Shawn Michaels back in the 80s and 90s. I think there was a Canadian that wanted to do the same thing, but yeah,
I don't think.
man. I mean, I love Cornette. Like I'm one of the few guys in the Indies. Like most guys in the Indies, like can't stand Cornette, but I love Jim Cornette. Like I listen to his podcast. all, like on YouTube, it's great because like you can just type in like, Jim Cornette shoots on, and he'll just tell you how he feels about it. Because like the thing about Cornette is like, I feel like when it comes to wrestling, like, usually his word most of the time, 99.9% of the time, is kind of the gospel. So like, I love Corny, man. Jim Cornette's great.
Yeah, I do too. And yeah, I know Mark Henry really spoke super high of Rip Rogers. I mean, just couldn't say enough good things about him also. And Cornette too. He said he stayed at Cornette's house for months.
I know Pat McAfee
Oh, wow.
always talked real high of Rip Rogers as well.
Yeah. Pat was actually originally trained by Rip Rogers.
Yep.
So, and look at Pat now, man. Like he has a few matches every year, and every single year you're just like, oh my gosh, like the guy's is phenomenal.
Okay, I had one more question I wanted to get out. One thing that you absolutely love about the wrestling business, and the one thing that you would change if you could.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I really love about professional wrestling is that, when I would watch wrestling as a kid, I didn't understand this, but like, my childhood, like for the most part, like I was just raised by my old man, and it would distract me from what's like going on in my life. And I realized this a couple weeks ago, when I was making my entrance, because like life can be tough, just like anyone, right? But now it's like wrestling can just like, man, once I go through that curtain, like nothing else matters. Like it doesn't matter what's going on at my job. It doesn't matter what's going back at home. Just the feeling that I get, is awesome. And I love that, just because like when it comes to wrestling, it's just like it fulfills me in a way where it's like I know for a fact this is what God put me on this planet to do. I feel like I have purpose, and it's phenomenal. Like I love every single second of it. Like I'm gonna have a hard time stepping away from this one day, and hopefully that day doesn't come until I'm like 60 or 70 like Flair. But it'll be hard. That's what I love about it. And man, just one thing that I would change about it is just if you and I don't want to get too in detail about this. Like if you have a problem, with someone, and I think this goes with wrestling and in life in general. If you have a problem with someone, if you have a disagreement with someone, if you have any issues with someone, talk to them. Don't go behind people's backs. Don't go to social media. Don't go bad mouthing them. That's just wasted energy. Just go to them, talk to them, look them in the eyes, and have a conversation. So I think that would be it. There's some negativity, around professional wrestling. And I think just if you make it a positive experience for as many people as you can, the better it is. So, and just at the end of the day, just if everyone could, like what Rip Rogers, taught me, like what I was talking about earlier, just if they understood the why, I think that professional wrestling as a whole would be so much better.
No, I agree, and you're right. That goes with everyday life as well. If people would just talk out their problems, I think the world would be in a lot better place.
Oh yeah, and I feel like just and I think one of the the many negatives that the pandemic brought us is like we're all cooped up in our house for like a year, and like that's not good for anyone's mental health just to be isolated, right? And I feel like as a society, we have one of the many negative things that we've gotten is we've lost our ability to communicate. And, so now we revert to, bad mouthing people and talking behind people's back. And it's like communication has been lost. And I feel like just gotta communicate.
One thing that when you said you hope you do this to your 60 or 70 like Flair, I don't know if you've got to see it this yet. It just happened Sunday. I don't know if you've seen a video of it. I got to see it, a lot of it live. Ricky Steamboat's last match. He had he wrestled with FTR in a 6-man tag against Arn Anderson, Jay Lethal, and I ain't gonna remember his name. Nick Aldis, and a 6-man
Man.
tag. Arn Anderson was also outside the ring. If you need to go check out the video, because Ricky Steamboat looked like he was 30 years old again. I mean,
I'm
he
sure
was hitting them arm drags.
Looks perfect.
Oh, and they look perfect. I mean, they look perfect. I mean, he did it at a small stadium in North Carolina. That's one NWA worked many times, and he did it there. But I'm hoping either AEW or WWE will bring him in and do one last match again, because he can go. Still, I mean, I know the dude's 60 years old, but he still can go, and it deserves to be on a bigger stage. But yeah, you need to search that out, because I think you really like it.
Oh no, I'll for sure be doing that, because I mean, Flair is my all-time favorite wrestler, so I'll definitely have to watch that. I'm always down to watch some good Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, man.
You think Flair's going to get back in there again?
I hope he don't. I thought he died the last time.
Hey,
I thought he was
Hey,
dead.
we're both big Ric Flair
man,
fans.
I'll never say no. I'll never say no to another Flair match. And Holden, I see your thing here, man. I was praying for you. I'm truly glad that you were able to overcome your cancer, man, and glad that wrestling was able to help you through that tough time. And I'm just very happy to see that you're doing well, man. I'm so happy. I saw the video of you ringing the bell, man, and that made my day.
Yeah, and Holden's been actually going to shows with us, and
he's part of the GSR crew now.
Been helping us run the camera and stuff.
So he's having a lot of fun doing that, and he's helping us, and that's awesome. He's a great dude.
Yeah, Holden's a great guy, man. He's a great addition to your guys' team, and that's awesome. I always see people. I always love seeing people that I love work together. It's awesome.
And talking about his story on Busted Open, I listened to a lot. Mark Henry and them guys, but they've talked about many callers have called in and talked about how wrestling has helped them in their life. Whether they've had family members with cancer, they've had cancer, they've had all kinds of issues, and wrestling was the thing that really helped them. Sasha Banks talked about how her childhood was bad and wrestling was her escape. I can't think of her name. Liv Morgan, same story with her. That really helped save their lives and move forward with their lives. So wrestling's a great thing. I wish more people would give it a chance and realize what it is. It's not like people want to call it carny. It's not carny. It's really great entertainment. It's cheap entertainment. It's soap opera. It's movie. I know people get mad and say it's pro wrestling. Yes, it is, but it is entertainment too.
Oh yeah, and I wish the fans knew too, to let them know in a little secret. Like, man, professional wrestling helps out us wrestlers too, man. Because like, we all go through stuff. We all go through hard times like anyone else, and like it's helped me out, man. Like, I've had some tough times over these past couple of years, and like, those fans, even if they're booing me and calling me names and calling me fake money, Wright, and other expletives, it makes my day. It makes me feel awesome. It helps me forget what may be going on in my life. So like it goes both ways. It's a two-way street, and like, just wrestling is an awesome thing.
Well, it goes to like what you said about the pandemic having us all locked up. Basically, everybody needs that outlet, whether it's wrestling or football or sports or whatever. You have to have that outlet to kind of take your mind off everyday life and the everyday grind of life.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, everyone needs that escape. And whether it's football or professional wrestling or writing or working out, like, everyone needs that escape. And I think professional wrestling is a great outlet for that.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. I have a really good friend that I've known for 40 years. His name's Bobby Taylor, and He's got cerebral palsy. He's got cerebral palsy.
Oh,
He,
man.
he can't speak, and I've known him for a long time. But he just loves wrestling. I mean, it's his go-to thing. He carries around toy
I
belts.
was gonna say Blake's probably seen him at a
You've seen
show.
him. I know he's been at DCCW shows. He's been all over. He's a
Okay.
black gentleman.
If next time I'm there, if I haven't seen him, you guys will have to introduce me to him, man.
Yeah, I will.
I'd love
I will.
to meet him.
And he's an awesome dude. But he just loves wrestling. Matter of fact, the last show we was at Jay County, they announced that DCCW was going to do a show on the 26th of November, and it ended up getting postponed and canceled because of some health issues and stuff, some things going on. So Bobby was at that show. Well, Saturday I get a call, which was the 26th, about 3:00 from his mother, and Bobby insisted that there was a show on the 26th and wanted to know where I was at. And Bobby's mom tried to explain to him, Tony always calls in the middle of the week, a week of a show. Something must have happened, and he would not stop until she called me. And I didn't think anything about it. And I told her, I said the show got canceled and everything. And I said, as soon as I'll always call.
He's actually going to go to a show with this
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah,
This
I'm taking him to the show Sunday to make up for the Saturday one he missed. But he just loves.
Well, he didn't miss it. Just
He
one
didn't miss it.
show.
Just for the show. But he just loves pro wrestling. And matter of fact, that last show DCCW, we got him on camera. He was sitting in the front row when the King won the DCCW belt from Dex. He flipping off the King as the King's leaving the ring. And Bobby's, I was teasing Bobby because Bobby's 54 and I'm 55 now. I'm 59. And I was teasing him. I've got it on camera. I was going to blackmail him. I was going to show that to his mom. And
it's like there
I was actually running
my dinner roast. I'm just sitting this one over your mom.
Yeah,
I was actually running the camera that night during that match.
Yeah.
And I was following Mitch Taylor out down the ramp, and all of a sudden I see Bobby just stay there, and he's flipping him off all the way down until he was out of the building. I was rolling.
I mean, Bobby's a guy that Bobby's a guy that his life's not been what maybe could have been, and he just loves wrestling. I can tell you his two favorite things: wrestling and McDonald's. Whenever we go to the show, it's wrestling, and after the show, it's McDonald's. So that's his two favorite things.
I'll stop and give him some McDonald's before we take him home.
Yep. So, but wrestling means
Well, shout
a lot
out
to
to
him.
Bobby, man. I hope I can. If I'm a bad guy on the show, I hope I can make him as angry as he was at Mr. Taylor as me. I'll accept that challenge. So.
Well, I can tell you who his favorites are. He absolutely loves the highlight reel and Dex, and they've been great to him.
Yeah.
They always spend time with him.
Sounds like he's got good taste.
Comes up to him.
Some wrestlers. Yeah. Those are three talented guys.
Yeah, he loves those guys.
Before we get out of here, and now my mind went blank. Oh no, I know I was going to ask you. What do you like better, being a heel or a face?
Man, that's a tricky question. But I think at the end of the day, if I had a preference, I think it comes from like what feels more natural, like not what's more easy. And I think just me being the villain has been more natural for me. I think it goes back to my football days. Like I always like playing on the road because I always like being booed. And I was like, all right, I would just rather be the villain, And so I think if I had to pick between the two, it would be heel. But whatever the show needs, I'm happy to do. But if I could have it my way, I'd be a bad guy all day.
Oh, I think you're great as both, but I really think you're great as a heel as well. I love listening to you on the mic.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate
that.
I hope I can get a live mic.
I'll tell you a tag team
on a Friday in Cincinnati. So
I would like to see you in a tag team with another favorite heel of mine, Jeremy Hadley. I don't think there'd be enough mic time.
Dude, I love Hadley. Man, more people, any bookers that watch that need to book that man. He is phenomenal. I love him. It's always a pleasant conversation. I freaking love that guy.
I agree.
All right, man. You got anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here for tonight?
No. Just support your local independents. If you're in the Indianapolis area this Friday, come check out the Dub. If you're in the Cincinnati area, come check out Cincinnati Pro Wrestling. And Yeah, just hit me up on Instagram. I'm not the biggest social media guy, but at Blake Money Wright's my Instagram. That's the most active that I'm on. And yeah, just thank you guys for having me on, and I'm excited to see you guys on Friday. Who knows? Maybe I'll have a cheat day, get some Skyline chili afterwards. And so,
You got anything else, Dad?
No, I'm good to go. I gotta get ready for work.
Yeah, that's why. Well, I looked at the time. I was like, he has to get ready for work. Hey, Blake, we appreciate you joining us. Like I said, you're welcome to come on anytime.
right on, guys.
And look forward to seeing you Friday, both just hanging out and also seeing you in action.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Right on, yeah, and catch it all here on GWR, guys.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us. And all right, he's going.
He's out.
Before we do get out of here, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. We'll be live. The show he was just talking about on Friday night. We'll be live from Cincinnati, 8 p.m. Eastern Friday night, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, all at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays Network. We also have a big interview tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. We have the marvelous Mr. Bell. He's a pro wrestling manager. He's also co-host of the wrestling podcast In Your House.
You name it, he does it.
Yeah, he's a big content creator, great guy.
Yep.
And it'll be a great conversation.
Yeah,
it's always fun talking to Jordan. Also, I'll be live here in a couple hours with Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern. If you're a sports fan,
Big betting show tomorrow because we're going to be on the road Friday, so we're going to be covering all the weekend stuff.
Yeah, tomorrow we have Easy Money, a sports betting show. Dad said it's going to be a big show because we're going to cover Saturday and Sunday games since we'll be on the road on Friday. And then Sunday we'll be live at Summit Pro at 3 p.m. Eastern. You'll be able to find that on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter as well. And that's TJ Kemp's retirement match. Should be an awesome show.
Be a great show.
You got a last man standing match between Calvin Tankman and Hillbilly Jed.
It's going to be awesome.
That's going to be awesome. So we appreciate everybody's support. Like I said, please hit that subscribe button, the like and follow buttons. That helps us out a lot. Leave a review on our Facebook page as well. That really helps more people see our stuff. But I hope everybody has a great night. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. I thought it was a great conversation with Blake.
Very good.
Again, thanks to Blake Money Wright for coming on the show. And when I said that, I ain't lying. I'm really looking forward to seeing him on Friday because he's great. He's one of the better ones we've seen on the mic. He's real good on the mic.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen Blake Money Wright in action, you definitely want to check him out. Yeah, he's great in the ring as well.
Yes.
But we appreciate everybody joining us. Hope everybody has a great night, and we will see you guys next time.